Wait, what am I doing? I'm not Rob. Hey, let's go through how to opt in to Redwood's experimental Vite support, available in Redwood 4.1 RC. So the first step we're going to do is, I have my Redwood project here, and I'm going to upgrade it to 4.1 RC. If you've done this before, it's exactly the same process as before. Yarn Redwood upgrade with the tag RC. This is going to go through your package.json, find the latest RC, run yarn install for you, and we'll be good to go.
7 hours later.
Okay, so we've done the upgrade, everything's installed now. Now let's start with the process of setting up Vite. So it's what you would expect from Redwood. You just run Redwood setup Vite. When you run this, it's going to ask you for confirmation. Because Vite support is still experimental, this is where we need your help. There will be bugs and we want to know about it. So if you're working in a big project with lots of people, think about it before you decide to opt in. But we'd really appreciate if you tried it and let us know if something doesn't work for you. So let's confirm. It's going to add a few files, it's going to add a dependency to your project, and we're good to go. So let's take a quick look at the changes that the command did to your project. It modified the Redwood toggle. So there's a new bundler flag here, which tells Redwood how to start bundling your website, whether you're launching the dev server or running a build. It's also introduced a new Vite config file. So this file is where all of the Vite configuration sits. You can customize it however you want. All of Redwood's built-in settings sit inside this Vite plugin. So we've taken all of that logic, kept it nicely hidden away, but you are more than welcome to customize it. What's important is if you do feel like you're needing to customize it, please do let us know what you feel like wasn't included, and we'll try to get it included in the main Redwood plugin. And finally, there's a third file, entry client JSX, and all this is doing, it's just the entry point for your Vite app. The reason it's called entry client is because this is the first step towards us enabling render modes. When we do SSR or other forms of rendering, we're going to have a separate entry for the server, and that'll probably be called entry-server. Now, with all of that done, all you need to do is run your dev server.
Bazinga!
So a couple of other things to note. So you'll see that the dev server will output slightly differently because it's using Vite underneath. You will also likely see this error coming through for the proxy over here when you first started. This is nothing to worry about. It only happens because Vite starts up so quickly that the API server hasn't had a chance to start up just yet. So really, you just need to refresh your page, and at that point, everything should be working. So you can see my app here is working fine. It didn't really need any changes to the code, which I'm very glad, but very likely in your project, you're going to need to make some small changes. Now, what these changes are going to vary on your project. I'll give you an example. So if you started using Redwood a long time ago, you're likely going to have this line of code in there, which uses the HTML Webpack plugin there. If you do this, you're going to see an error that looks like this. This really isn't necessary in Redwood, whether you're using Webpack for Vite because we changed how you set the title. So you can go ahead and remove that from your index HTML. A couple of other things to talk about. Vite support is in experimental phase, and we need all the help we can get testing how it works on your project. And to this end, what we've done is over on our Discord, we've set up a special Vite feedback channel. Now, this is a Discord forum channel. This is the first time we're trying something like this out. So let us know how you find it. I'm going to try and stay on top of this channel. So if you're facing any sort of issues, please do feel free to drop a line here. But of course, the other thing that you should always do is do have a look at the Vite repo. Often the issues that you will face on using Vite, there's usually a solution on their GitHub issues. And these might be small changes you need to make to your code. For example, not using require statements, or changing slightly how you import and export things. So that this really is a good resource for finding stuff like this out. What would be very helpful is if you had a reproduction for any sort of bugs that you're finding. That would really help me solve these issues much quicker. Last thing to note is that remember we talked about the new bundler flag here on Vite. You can quite easily switch on and off Vite mode. So all you need to do is comment out this bundler flag or just swap it out to Webpack. And once you do that, your dev server and your build process will switch back to using Webpack. And you can see over here that it's using Webpack again. You can tell by the output it produces, it's slightly different. It's worth noting that even if you have the Vite bundler enabled on your TOML, even when you run Storybook, it's still using Webpack underneath. And this is because our integration with Storybook isn't quite complete yet. We're working with the Storybook team to speed this up, but this really should have no impact on you during dev. So for the dev server and the build, it'll continue using Vite, and for Storybook, so let me find an example here, it's still using Webpack. You'll notice that it's a little bit slower once you start using Vite, but everything should still work as before.